go. It's about that time. Y'all ready to go?
No time.
Ready today? Everybody ready to go today? All right, very good, very good. Well, thank you very much for joining us for our monthly sales meeting. A lot of cool information to share with everyone. Neat stuff happening, lots of good things going on. How's everybody feeling a little bit right now? Well, I hope that you're feeling good. And the reason I bring that up is largely because as a nation, we're not feeling real good. Right? Election time, and I don't care if you are a liberal, I don't care if you're a conservative, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, normally all the news is bad because all our, I don't, and this is, I'm not leaning politically one way or the other. I really care very little. And well, let me rephrase it. I'm not saying I don't care about the election, but really at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we're being smart about what's really happening in our marketplace and that we understand that sometimes we too can be swayed by what's going on the national scene, that kind of stuff. And even though I'm kind of dating myself, like
You are.
we did really, yeah, I know, but like we did really well during Bush Senior, okay? And then we did super good under Bill Clinton. And then we did awesome under Bush Jr. And then we did amazing under Obama. And we did good with Trump. And we did good with Biden. And so it's one of those things, the president does not dictate our business. Yes, there's going to be policy changes. Yes, there's things going on. But please don't get swayed into feeling one way or another about the election and getting wrapped up in it. So that's the only political position I'm going to take. And I recommend that you just kind of be aware of what's going on because everything is really negative during elections. A lot of times Americans and realtors just start kind of feeling a little bit down too. And I don't want you to because we have such good news going on right now, some amazing stuff happening. And so I want to make sure that we are looking at what's really happening in our marketplace and able to really articulate. And really my hope, my goal, my prayer here is that you take some of these data points and you share them with your database. You be the voice of reason and what's going on. Because just like, what's filling up your news feeds, what's filling up how many text messages you get in a day from some political candidate? How many emails and robocalls and all that kind of stuff, right? It's happening the same thing to your clients. So let's make sure that we're being the voice of reason. So let's talk about what's happening in the world of interest rates, because does that impact us at all?
Absolutely.
Yes, it does. And so inflation is looking better. Now, why is inflation important for us to know when talking about interest rates?
Affordability.
Well, inflation drives interest rates. You want to see, you'll remember when inflation went really high? What happened to interest rates? They all went really high. So what are we seeing now? Inflation's coming down. So what should we expect with interest rates?
Comes down.
Yep. Now, the bad news, the good news, bad news is jobs are getting a little bit worse. I know it sounds weird. See, the Fed, they're measuring the economy and how the economy is going. And when jobs are super plentiful, when unemployment is crazy low, they feel like the economy is going too good. And so they try and put their foot on the brake. They throw a little bit of water on the fire that is our economy. And so what do you notice about the unemployment rates? Slightly improving. Slightly rising, right? It's slightly getting a little bit worse. And that's actually good for interest rates, as odd as that sounds. So Fed chair said, time has come for September rate cuts. Next Wednesday, we're expecting a rate cut. So, and now how much? Some, about 2/3 of the folks say it's just going to be a 1/4 point. Another 1/3 of the folks say it's going to be a 1/2 point. We don't know exactly where it's going to be. But we are expecting to see rate cuts. Now, with rate cuts, just because the Fed lowers the federal funds rate, does that automatically lead to interest rates dropping?
No,
No, it doesn't, because, you know, what 30-year mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury. And the 10-year treasury, those are T-bills, and the 10-year treasury is heavily influenced by the market. And the market is heavily influenced by the federal funds rate. So when the federal funds rate comes down, we are gonna see where treasuries are gonna come down, and then in turn, we're gonna see where interest rates move lower. Now, here's your other really good data point. The rate cutting cycle is not a one and done. They're expecting 6 to 8 rate cuts between now and 2025. So what happens when interest rates, when they cut the federal funds rate between 6 and 8 times over the next year and a half? What's gonna continue to happen with interest rates?
continue.
Come on, work with me here, come on, like, what's gonna continue to happen with interest rates?
They don't keep
They're,
going.
they're gonna keep going down, exactly. Now, how much are we looking at it coming down? It varies, you know, we've got, you know, you can see kind of what we've done with interest rates, but I don't care if you're Fannie, Mortgage Bankers Association, NAR, Wells Fargo, they're all moving in one direction.
Downward, down.
Right, this is good for us.
Mhm.
This is good for our clients.
Yes.
Yes, it improves you know, it improves their purchase abilities and how much that they can afford. So a rate cut by the Fed is unlikely to have a lot of immediate impact, however. Like the rate cut that we're gonna be seeing happen next Wednesday, the market's already starting to build that in. Right, we're already seeing lower rates move down. Like it's not gonna, don't expect to see a rate cut next Wednesday and then the thing drop by 25 or 50 basis points at the same time. It doesn't work that way. The market's already expecting it. So we're already seeing lower rates right now. See, right now we're moving, this is kind of where we've been based on demand. And that demand is heavily based on interest rates. So when interest rates are really high, what happened to buyer demand?
Goes down.
Yeah. Where do you see us sitting now, though? We're sitting in a good place right now, better than we've been all year. We are sitting in a really good rate demand environment. But how are some of our clients feeling right now? Right?
They're nervous.
Well, they're nervous. There's an election going on. They don't know what's happening, right? But is this a good time for our buyers? Yeah, we're in a rate demand. We're in good, but what happens when rates keep coming down? What are we gonna move into? We're gonna move into a strong market where buyer demand is improving even more as we move throughout the rest of this year and into 2025. Now, can you time the market? Everyone wants to, I mean, when you buy, when do you want to buy? I want to buy when the market is
Down.
low, and I want to sell market's high. So everybody wants to buy low, sell high. And we're going to be looking at inventory and some of these other kind of things here in a minute. But the idea that every person out there, and everyone wants, I want to buy when the market's low, I want to sell when the market's high. Everyone has this idea that they can be this great timer of the market, that they know the right time to get in, the right time to get out, those kind of things. That's not how this works in real estate, right? There's this old adage where people say, what goes down or what goes up must come down. That's not the fact with property values and property value appreciation, right? You either get in the game and be part of the game or not, right? And so the idea that we're gonna be able to time the market, that's not realistic. So like some folks will say, well, if interest rates are gonna go down over the next year and a half, maybe I'll just wait. Is that a good idea?
Mhm.
I mean, why shouldn't I wait? Rates are gonna become lower.
Maybe, maybe not.
Well, I mean, I firmly believe rates are gonna go lower, but as soon as, when rates go lower, what, we just looked at it, what happens to buyer demand when rates go lower?
And everybody's.
Everybody's gonna jump on the market, right? And we have some, and I'll show you in a minute, we have some of our softest property value appreciation that we've seen in like years. Now's a really good time. We got some really nice inventory coming on board. Now's not the time to wait. And that's the thing I want to make sure that because, you know, when we start talking about interest rates coming down, we end up with a whole lot of people who say, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna wait. And so, yes, you may wait and get a rate, a lower rate next year. Or, and then you can also pay more for a house next year too, because the more demand that we have in the marketplace, what's that gonna do to pricing? It's gonna increase, right? So, we are seeing inventory increase. Right now, inventory's been looking really, really good, right? So, this is on a national level. We're sitting on 4.1 months of standing inventory nationally. And is that better or worse? Is that bad?
No.
No, it's not bad at all, kind of thing. Matter of fact, this is what we're actually looking at. So that was a national number. Let's look here locally. And so the top area here, this is Georgia MLS, the bottom is FMLS. And so new listings in Georgia MLS is up 17%. In FMLS, new listings are up 12, almost 13%. So we have a lot more new listings coming on the market this time of year than we had last year. In addition to that, total number of active listings we have right now. We are up 37% in Georgia MLS, 54% in FMLS. We have almost half as many listings more than we had this time last year. Is that good or bad? Come on, what do you think? Is that good or bad?
Good.
Well, it depends, like, there's all sorts of folks who like, if I'm a seller, is that necessarily good or bad? I have a lot more competitors going on there right now, but for our buyers, is this good or bad? If you remember summer of 2021, y'all remember that? Y'all were in the market back then? Like, we were just order takers. We didn't have enough inventory. We had people fighting, we had fist fights at open houses for people to buy houses. We had multiple offer scenarios. We had crazy value appreciation. That's not where we're at right now. But this is really good for our buyers to see this kind of moving in. In addition, our new homes, new inventory levels of new homes. New homes tend to average around 6 months of standing inventory. We got almost 9 months of inventory on new construction. That's another really strong area for us to be looking at. And the builders aren't overbuilding. Don't think that the builders are overbuilding. This is what happened for the years kind of thing. We've had 15 years where we've been making babies, but we ain't building houses. So we need more new construction. We don't have enough houses in the US right now. We also have the largest millennial population that is all reaching first-time buyer age. Over the next several years, the largest population group we have is all reaching first-time buyer age. Is that an important step for us to know? We don't have enough houses. We're not building enough houses. And we have the largest millennial group all reaching first-time buyer age over the next 2 to 3 years. This is a really strong place for us to be in and understand what's going on in the market. So, but when you have rising inventory, what does that mean? It means that we are having properties that are sitting on the market longer than we have been in the past. Now, please don't think that that's crazy by any means. Nationally, we're sitting on about 50 days on the market. Here in Georgia, it's a little bit less. So here we're 44 days on the market. In Georgia MLS, 37 days, so somewhere around 40 days on the market is the average between the time that they sit on the market until they go under contract. And that's kind of, and so is it increasing? Yes. Right? Like 2 years ago it was 20, then it was 30, now it's almost 40, right? So we are seeing rising inventory levels, but that, should we be concerned about that? I don't want to, and I'm going to show you why here in just a second. Overall, nationally, we're standing on 4.1 months of standing inventory. Right now, we're sitting on 4.1 months of standing inventory in Georgia MLS, 3.9 months of standing inventory in FMLS. So we're still sitting there. We're very similar to the national average as far as overall where we're sitting on inventory levels. Now, let's also keep the reality of it. Sellers are getting less offers now than they got just a year ago. So we don't have as many, interest rates have been hurting us up to now. And so we are still having, or we aren't getting quite as many offers. So this is like a teaching moment for our sellers. Like we, we just had a conversation with a seller and got a really good offer in. Good price, whole 9 yards, and the seller wants to know, should I wait for another offer? Do I need it? I remember we sold one house, and we had 5 offers on it. I think we should wait. Is that what needs to happen? How many offers do you need to sell a house?
Just one.
One, that's all you need. That's all you need, just one good offer, right? So don't, like we want our sellers to be realistic about what's going on, and we need to make sure our sellers understand what's happening in this market, just like we're making sure that our buyers know what's going on. So, so with rising inventory, more competition on homes, what's happening with price reduction? Where we have more properties with price reduction. We have this strange market at the moment where if you put your house at a good price, and it's in good condition, in a good location, it's gonna sell quickly. But if you throw it out there and think, let's try this. Let's go ahead and just see what happens. Let's shoot for the moon. What's happening to those properties? Yep, yeah, they are collecting dust, right? So here in Georgia, 29.5% of all of our listings have a price reduction. Like that's real. That's one thing that's going on. So we're seeing, like this is to make sure, like I want you to have these data points to talk to our sellers, because I don't want to sell your home for a penny less than you could get for it. But if we overprice it, what's going to happen? It's going to sit, and then we're going to have to do a price reduction. And then what else do we do when we have to do a price reduction? I mean, it's never just a price reduction. That's the thing, right? Okay, well, now maybe we're gonna go to a little bit higher compensation. Now we're gonna throw in closing costs. And you know what, we're gonna, they can keep the big screen TV, and I'll do this in repairs, and I'll pay this down on their mortgage, and I'll buy points, all this kind of stuff. You start throwing in extra money. Generally speaking, they're much better off to come out of the gate at the right price than to throw it off, because all those things come off of the seller's net. So, at the same time, we have a lot of our buyers are backing out of deals right now. And I just I'm trying to make sure that we're aware of what's going on in the marketplace right now. Why are so many buyers backing out of deals right now? Buyers have a lot of options, and so when your seller gets a realistic offer in, and then they ask, and if you get a repair request and it's reasonable, I mean, this isn't the summer of 2022 or 2021 kind of thing where everyone's lined up. They can be like, I'm not going to make any repairs. I'm not going to do this. I want all cash. That's not the marketplace. So we got to make sure that our sellers know we're moving into a balanced market is really what we're seeing right now. Now, overall, inventory in Georgia, total inventory is up 53% this year versus last year. Does that seem scary? Because I mean, at first glance, when you say, look, we have half as many homes extra on the market this year than last year, that to me says, okay, maybe we are going to see a price reduction. Maybe we are going to, like 54% in a year. That's kind of startling, right? I mean, like if you're just looking at it, just that first numbers, like when I see 53% up, I'm like, whoo, that's significant. But when you put it into context, though, right? We were historically so low on inventory, right? So even though, yes, we're up 53% this year versus last year on total inventory, where were we pre-COVID? Like before the market, I mean, before COVID hit, we're still down 25% from where we were before COVID hit. And y'all remember pre-COVID? I know some of y'all young, but I'm just saying, like pre-COVID, like it was still a seller's market, right? So we are seeing a rise in inventory, but like a lot of folks are like, well, with 50% inventory, we're going to see price cutting. We're going to see another market crash. No, we're not. We're not. Yes, inventory is improving. Thank goodness inventory is improving. And but don't think that it's improving to the point to where it's going to affect us or affect our seller financials on there, because we're still down 25%. That's significantly down on total inventory. We need to keep seeing inventory increases just to get back to where we were pre-COVID as far as overall. Remember, if you want to look at just in Georgia, sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy, but you can see like back in 2017, we had over 50,000 listings, 50,000, and then COVID hit and we went down to 30,000, 20,000, 25, 30. So now we're up to 38. Like, this is what I'm talking about in just pure raw numbers. So it is getting better, but is it even where we were prior to COVID? No. So just, you know, like I just don't want anybody to get their panties all in the wad about this, that the inventory is going to cause prices to start crashing. We're not, that's not where we're going. We're going to a much more normal place. And a lot of us are not really used to normal. It's kind of nice to have normal, right? So all that being said, at the same time, does that mean the homes aren't selling? No, A third of all of our properties are under contract in 2 weeks. So, you know, good properties in good condition, priced right, in good areas, what's happening? They're selling quick, right? So we're having good properties that are selling quick. If they come out and they're overpriced, I just showed you the numbers, what's happening? They're sitting there. The market is correcting them, whether they like it or not, you know, and I know we always get those sellers who's like, but we have in-floor heating. No one cared, right? You know, but tax record says this. No one cared, you know, like we just put in a gazebo in the backyard. No, that didn't add any value, not a penny. Right? So like the market's is really dictating kind of what we have moving forward here on that. Now, overall, let's look, you know, like we are still in there, but now pending sales are still trending down. Right now, pending sales are trending down. And a lot of that has been just due to interest rates and what's kind of been going on there. So we're running around 11, 12% down on pending sales. Closed sales are down about 12%, but that's not really true. I only say that because when you think, oh, sales are down 12%, we're doing this weird yo-yo thing here in Georgia, where 1 month we're down, next month we're up. 1 month we're down, next month we're up. So you can see, I mean, if the trend follows, what's going to happen to to this month's sales? We're probably going to be up about 12% this month. It's been this way all year. We've been off by a month every single month this year. So don't let that sway you too much. Overall, properties are still appreciating. So property values in Georgia MLS are up 2.8%. In FMLS, they're up just under 1%. So are we seeing prices moderate, level off, be much more reasonable? I mean, yeah, this is what you can see: Freddie Mac, Zillow, NAR, you know, Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae. This is the property value appreciation that all these big brain people are expecting to see coming into next year. And so nationally, they're looking at about 3.1%. Is that good or bad? Have you thought about it? Are you happy with 3%? I'm ecstatic with 3% personally, because 3% is, we're still having positive appreciation, but it's not those double digits that we had for a couple of years. That's where a lot of our affordability issues have really hurt us, right? I mean, on average, properties that appreciate at 4.4% a year. So we're a little bit slightly under average, but property values appreciated over 50% for the last 3 years. That's significant. So we're just going back into a much more normal time of year, or normal time in real estate, just more good, steady growth, modest movement on that kind of stuff. For 2025, they're looking at just about the same thing. They're looking at 2.7. Now, Georgia, we will be higher than that. These are national averages, and we tend to run a little bit hotter because we have a positive net flow of people. We have a lot of people that move here from New York as well as from Florida. We have a lot of government jobs here. We don't have the hurricane issues, and so a lot of people move into Georgia. And so we have a lot of positives going. We'll probably be closer to that 4 to 5% property value appreciation over the next year. And is that a good thing to tell your buyers? I mean, buyers would love if property values went down, right?
No. Buyers about property.
Well,
Yes, they would. Seller would like the property value go up.
well, but buyers, well, I mean, what I'm trying to get to is, I mean, a lot of sellers, I mean, a lot of buyers think, man, if prices would drop, I'd want to buy. And would they really? I mean, would you want to buy something and think, man, I hope if I buy this, it goes down over the next year? Nobody wants to buy when the market's going down, right? No one wants to say, hey, I hope my home is worth less next year than this year, right? So we do have positive appreciation, but we have modest appreciation the way it's working. And that's really, really good for our buyers as well as for our sellers. You know, I think double digit is dangerous, but like 3 to 5% property value appreciation, which I think is very reasonable for us to expect moving forward this year into next year. It's a very comfortable, safe, normal place for us to be. And so these are great talking data points for us to be looking at. Because for our buyers, well, for everyone, but you can see that real estate value, this is in the US, is somewhere around, 45.8 billion or trillion dollars, sorry. Equity is around $32 trillion. You can see that how much folks have in mortgage. Look at how much equity people have versus how much mortgage debt they're carrying. So when you look at it this way, where does wealth in real estate come from? Or wealth in America come from? Where does wealth come from? Right. So either you're part of this or you're not. Because if you rent, you're doing this for your landlord. When you own, you're part of this scenario here. That's one of the big things that I want us to really make sure that we're pointing out, because there's some really great news coming up we have a lot of pent up demand, especially in first time buyers, especially for entry level buyers. There's a lot of really good news out there, and we are not shouting it from the rooftops the way that we should be. So when inventory rises faster than demand, the prices will have to adjust. We're already seeing that happen right now. What's really going on is that we are in a seller's market and we're moving into a balanced market. Now, some of us have been around for a long time, and I'm not dating you, Jessica. I'm talking about Meg and I. Sorry, Meg. And so, do you guys remember a seller's market? I did rob the cradle. You are so right. Yeah, about a year and a half. Yeah, all right, we'll call it 2 years. But like a lot of real estate folks have not seen a balanced market, right? I mean, unless you've been in real estate for at least 10, 12 years, you haven't seen a balanced market where the number of buyers and the number of sellers is more even. And so this is causing a lot of people some angst, right? And I want you to be ready to handle the situation that we're going into. I'm trying to prepare you for what's really going on right now. Sellers and buyers need to be prepared. And we need to make sure that we're the ones who are educating you about this. It doesn't mean that for our sellers, does this mean this is bad news for our sellers? They just don't hold all the cards, right? Have our sellers really gotten used to holding all the cards over the last several years? Right? You want to, I don't want to pay any closing costs. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, fine. If I want to buy a house, I'm gonna have to take that. Is that where we're going? No, we're at the point where the buyers are gonna have a lot more market impact here. And so the seller's gonna have to make some concessions and be reasonable about it. They're not gonna be able to throw crazy prices out there. Does that mean the buyer's gonna be able to get anything they want? No, it doesn't mean that either, right? It's a balanced market. It becomes about negotiation. So for listing agents that have just kind of done the basic 4, put a sign in the yard, lockbox in the door, put it in the MLS and pray. Are they gonna have a hard time with this market moving forward? Yeah, yeah, we, time to get to some work in here, right? And for our buyers, do we need to be shouting about all the positive things going on and they can't go crazy? Right? This is a balanced market. This is not a buyer's market. This is not a seller's market. This is where we're moving into. Now, we've also got some very interesting trends that are here in Georgia that I want to share with you. Okay. And so first thing is, this is what's happening from 600,000 and up. Okay. And so these are homes in Georgia over $600,000. The red bar represents new listings in Georgia. What have you noticed about the listings happening in over $600,000? Ooh, they're tapering off. New listings are really, really tapering off. And because they're tapering off, what about total inventory of homes over $600,000? That's the yellow bar. I'm sorry, that's the yellow line. What's happening to our total inventory over 600,000? It's tending down. If you look at the blue bar, what's happening with sales though? Sales is really still very, very strong. So what do you know, like, and honestly, I went into this expecting to see different data points. I expected to see a lot more competition on the entry level. No, it's where all of our sellers are over 600,000, we have a lot of them pulling out of the market, holding off right now. So if I was looking to try and take advantage of a trend, if I was reaching out to any sellers, I'd be reaching out to sellers over $600,000 in neighborhoods over 600,000. Now, it's not just over 600,000. What if you went from say 250 to 600? Do y'all notice a similar trend? Right? This is another one that I didn't expect to see the exact, I mean, like these are really, really similar numbers, right? Because now I'm from 250 to 600 and still what's happening to new listings between 250 and 600? It's going down. However, what's happening with sales? Staying strong, but total inventory here is dropping. Do we need to be reaching out for sellers from 250 to $1 million for sure right now? Yeah, because we're not going to have enough inventory moving into the rest of the year. So even though I'm like, look, properties are going to be appreciated, you know, like we're going to see really modest appreciation. I agree with all that. However, what happens when there's not enough homes to buy? What happens to the pricing of those homes? It's going to go up, right? Based on competition. I mean, you can see the image. I mean, what's happening with the sales volume. Sales volume is strong. Now, what about on homes under $250,000? These are our entry-level homes. This is our first-time buyer homes. If you're under 250, what do you think is happening here? The exact opposite. What's happening here is, so the red bar, what do you see happening with our inventory on homes under $250,000? And what do you see happening with our total inventory on homes under $250,000? What do you notice about the sales volume on these homes? About the same, but I mean, maybe even dropping just a little bit. I mean, it really hasn't moved. So what happens when, you know, we have the inverse going on right now in our marketplace is what I'm saying, right? People buy based on different price points are different. Real estate's always local. You know, we all know that, but in these breakdowns, like if I was a buyer, a first-time buyer, would I feel really good about this marketplace right now? I think we should be overjoyed. We have some of the best, highest inventory levels that we've had in years, rising inventory and interest rates coming down. Is this good for us? Yes or yes, if you're a first-time buyer. Now, for our sellers who are selling under 250, what's this mean?
Need to be competitive.
They're gonna have to be competitive because we have more sellers under 250, then we have buyers by a significant number. And honestly, when I pulled these data points up, I expected the exact opposite to be the fact. I expected that we would be seeing where inventory levels were really high on high-end properties, and the inventory levels were still pretty high in the middle, and the inventory levels under 250 will be rock bottom. And it's the exact opposite. So what I want you to think about is, for us, for years now, for several years, has this been a great place for our first-time buyers? No, it hasn't been, it's been tough for our first-time buyers. I'm not saying they don't make, there's still about 35% of our market first-time buyers. But now our first-time buyer is gonna have more buying power, both in terms of interest rates and availability of properties and what they can get on offers. And as we move into a balanced market, is this gonna be a really good place for first-time buyers? And so I guess what I'm saying is, if you're looking for sellers, look for sellers over 250. You're looking for buyers, work buyers under 250 because you're gonna be able to transact a lot of transactions through that whole process. Right? So, what's happening with these interest rates is really, really great for our buyers. We kind of touched on the interest rates, and Sharon, while I've got you here, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit here. So come here, I'm gonna hit you up real quick. I'm gonna hit you up real quick. So like right now, you've got about, I don't know what, 50, 60 people that you have that are in a different place, or I'm sorry, that have been pre-approved with you in the past. Yep. And now the interest rates are coming down. What are you doing?
Actually, I'm picking the phone up and calling all these people that I've actually pre-approved, because and then reaching out to the agents. They actually sent them to me, because right now, at the time we pre-approved them, the rate was at 7.5 or 8.
Yep.
Today, they're 5.75, maybe costing a half.
I want y'all to hear that. No, I need you to back up and like dance or shout when you do this.
That's
Okay?
what, you want to get up dancing, because honestly, we got 2 price betterments yesterday and we got 3 on Friday. So the rates are going down, and I mean, they're really going down, and they've gone down really fast the last 2 days.
5 point what?
5.75.
Look, we kept hearing, look, if rates get under 6, like, we're gonna start burning the tires off the car, right? And so where are rates?
Well, they're
Under 6.
they're under 6.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, on FHAs, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
FHA.
FHA, conventional is running a little bit higher, that kind of stuff, but like, so we are seeing interest rates. We're also starting to see, so and the reason I wanted you to talk for a minute with, just so you know, I was already talking to Sharon, but I just want to make sure that is your lender reaching out to buyers that they got pre-approved previously? Because Sharon is, and then she's gonna reach out to them and then reach out to you. Make sure that your lenders, if they've got folks pre-approved, that they are reaching out right now. Rates are coming in so much better. And I showed you what's happening with inventory out there, right? I'm not saying that buyers shouldn't be buying over 250. I don't mean that either, but it's gonna be, we're not gonna be able to push as hard on that because we know inventory levels are tighter there.
Well, and this has been my price point probably for the last 3 months, the 250 to 275 range. There, I don't see a lot of. I've got one for 6 something now, but that's really rare. Right now, the loans that I'm doing are use 250 and right up to, I guess, around 275.
Yeah.
So because it's affordable. Well, now that the rates are lower, it's really affordable, and then they can actually afford more house. So, when the rates went so high, when we pre-approved them for, $450,000, well, when the rates went to 7.5 or 8, they couldn't get approved more than 300, or 250.
Yeah.
So now it's a buyer's market right now. It's crazy. And we got inventory.
And we asked Sharon to reach out to all her buyer clients. So if you have clients with Sharon, understand that she's reaching out to them, and then she's gonna reach out to you. If you have a lender and they're not reaching out, hit them up. Right? The lenders face the same thing that we all do in that they get down, they start feeling negative about things. They don't always catch, a lot of them are independent. They don't have a lot of sales meetings, that kind of stuff, some of these guys. And so make sure that they're reaching out and pre-approving your clients the way Sharon's doing right now.
Well, this is also a good opportunity for the agents to reach out to their client. There's a reason for conversation.
Yeah, okay, well, and Ming, you get, I have to repeat it because no one can hear you, so what Ming said was, as an agent, can we be reaching out right now and talking about rates and talking about what's going on and the availability of, and so like, yes, don't necessarily just dump it off on the lender. But also utilize, utilize your resources. That's a great resource. Like if I have a lender who's reaching out on my behalf. And then like I love the fact, Sharon calls and says, hey, I was just talking with your buyer and we went ahead and got them pre-approved for a lower rate and their purchase price is this now. Would I be picking up that phone and hitting that client up and starting to set up appointments? Absolutely.
Get them in the car.
Yeah, but we don't put them in the car no more. No.
Build relationships.
Yeah, well, we do build relationships, but we just ain't taking nobody in the car anymore, right? I mean, I'm just being straight up. I mean, like you can follow me, I'll follow you, but
You ain't getting
you ain't
in.
getting in my car, right? Ever since COVID, like nobody's in our car anymore.
Well, tell them to follow you then.
Yeah, that works. So very good. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. All right. All right, well, there we are. I want to talk about a data point that I saw recently come across. And so when you look at this graph, it says buyers agents commissions have trickled down since March. And you're like, man, that looks pretty significant, doesn't it? I mean, like, what's happening with buyers agents commissions? I mean, they're dropping a lot, isn't it? I mean, when you look at that, isn't that scary looking? It's all about how you want to lay it out on a graph.
2.63 versus 2.5.
2.63 versus 2.55. 0.08. In Georgia, the average commission was 2.88 prior, and now it's 2.82, 0.06%. Less than 1/10%. What I'm saying is honestly, that's within the margin of error. Please don't be swayed by that, right? We're hearing a lot of things going on right now. And so, especially with what's happened with the NAA lawsuit, I need that we are the ones who are embracing change, right? Because you really have two options right now, change or die. I'm just being straight up, right? Change or get out of the business. And I hate to be that blunt about it, but it's the bottom line. Either you change or the business is going to run you over or you're not going to get any business out there. And so what does that mean? And what am I talking about with that? So like in part, when we talk about compensation, I think that we need to be ready to negotiate for that. I think that we work really, really hard for what we do, and we should stand up for who we are and the value that we bring. But the other thing is we've got to make sure that we realize that things have changed. Business is changing, and we have to make sure that we're changing. And honestly, the ones who have the hardest time with change are not the younger, newer agents. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm just saying, but like, it's not the younger, newer agents who are having a hard time with this. You know who's having a hard time with change? It's the more mature, distinguished agents, like if you have much salt and pepper as I do, we're the ones who are having a hard time with the change, right? That's just the reality of what's going on. So like part of our changes, with the NAR settlement rules, right? We got to have a buyer's written agreement prior to showing. That's a big deal, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. We have to now be ready to negotiate our compensation as part of the contract. When you're submitting an offer, are you gonna have an offer of compensation included inside that purchase and sale? Yes, you need to. So you can use F-258, F-255, or you can include it as a special step. That's totally fine. But like, this is a new way of doing business. If you don't do that, are you working for free possibly?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely kind of thing. So like, we have a ton of classes going on. I think Ming and I are teaching next week, I believe, over at Metro South Association of Realtors. This is going on. But the other thing that I see happening right now is we have some maybe not new conversations, but conversations that we have to have. So our sellers, so for listing agents, the conversations between listing agents and sellers has actually been way easier than I think agents are not having a hard time talking about compensation to sellers right now. I mean, back when we talked about summer of 2021 earlier, right? What kind of market was it back then? Huge sellers market, right? And when it's a seller's market, like our sellers, did they have to pay a compensation? Did they have to do it? Did they have to make any repairs? No. What's the market that we're in right now?
So even,
Balance. We're in a balanced market. So suddenly our sellers are like, hey, you guys are really valuable. So we're not having any, having the conversation with our sellers about compensation, that's not our problem. For agents working with buyers, we're having challenges right now because we're trying to do business the old way. We're trying to wing it. We're not adopting the changes that we need to make. Right now, the buy side, many agents are having a hard time securing buyer brokerage agreements prior to showing. And a lot of that is because we haven't embraced the change. It's because we haven't accepted and acknowledged that this is how it's going to be moving forward. And so I need that we are prepared and ready for it. The seller conversations has turned out to be much easier than I think a lot of folks were expecting. A lot of the sellers understand there's not been a problem, but we're having a disconnect on the buy side with a lot of agents between the buyers and the agents. They don't know who's paying, they don't know how to pay, they don't know what's going on. So first of all, please follow the rules. Rules today that we must have a written buyer agreement prior to showing. Now, our MLSs are really wide open right this minute about it. They're like, everyone's going through changes, there's a lot of stuff going on. But they're all reserving the right that they could ask you at any moment, please provide a written buyer's agreement to me. If the MLS is the one who's enforcing these changes. This is not NAR, any kind of stuff. All these are changes, rule changes in the MLS. And so if MLS or Georgia MLS could come and say, look, I need you to send me over a copy of your written buyer's agreement. What if you don't have one? Then they can
do it for free.
then they can remove you from the MLS. And anyone want to try and transact real estate without access to an MLS? So first of all, don't violate the rules. Here's the rules. We have to have a written agreement prior to showing, accept it, right? Some folks don't like it. I love it. I think it is phenomenal. And main reason is, I think that for the first time in a long time, a lot of agents are treating buyers the way that we have treated sellers for years. And with our sellers, we'd make an appointment, we'd go meet them, we would talk about all the things that we're going to do to represent them through the transaction. These are all the services I provide, and we're going to build rapport with them. And then, and at the end of it, like here, here's all the costs. Here are my fees. Here's what I'm going to charge. And then we would get a listing agreement signed. And with our buyers in the past, it was just kind of like, see you at the house. Is that showing any kind of like, I mean, like, hey, I just see do we really want to regulate ourselves to door openers? Like, all I do is just open the door. I don't have no value. Hopefully you found your house on Zillow and I'll just come open the door. Is that really what we want to be? So like I want you to understand that now's our chance to really stand up. Now's the chance for buyers agents, especially, to shine, right? Because first thing is that understand and embrace the change. These rule changes, when I have a buyer client with a signed buyer brokerage agreement, is that a legit buyer? Absolutely. If I got somebody who just wants to see a house, is that a legit buyer? No, most of the time that's a waste of my time. Now I might be able to build a relationship, and I'm not saying that that it's not a decent lead, but at that point it's a lead, it's not a client. When I have a client that has a signed buyer brokerage agreement, that's real. That's someone who's probably going to close with me. So we gotta start setting appointments with buyers. That's probably one of the biggest changes that we see happening. For the agents who are being really successful with this, they're the ones who are saying, can you come into the office? Can you meet me here? Can we meet at Chick-fil-A? I need to go through and explain what the process is. I want to educate you. I want you to know what's going on. These are all the services I provide. This is what the process looks like. This is how it's all gonna work. These are the services I provide. These are the fees that I charge. And oh, by the way, this is who can pay for that. Because is the buyer the only person who could pay compensation? I mean, they could pay, but we have a lot of options in there. But if you don't sit down with them and have that conversation in advance, do they know? No, and so we're trying to circumvent the whole system here. Because the system says, we're gonna have written buyer agreements in advance. And that's a really good thing. Now, if I have a written agreement, I have the written authorization to negotiate on my buyer's behalf. If you don't have a written agreement, do you have authorization to negotiate compensation or any other element? No, so you don't have authorization to open, I mean, you're not supposed to show houses, and you don't have any approval to negotiate on their behalf because they're not your client. So it's time for us to go ahead and accept the change, right? Have a formal buyer's presentation. If you don't have one, please steal the crap out of ours. All right, it's in Paperless Pipeline. You're welcome to steal it. But in there, it talks about, like there's a whole section talks about negotiating for you, the fees that I charge, and then who can cover the commission. Those are the big questions that our buyers really, you have to be ready to talk about that. So you want to be able to educate them, inform them on the process, give them the list of options out there, and then this is your time to build rapport. When you do this, I mean, like for years, we've not had a problem getting anyone to sign a buyer brokerage agreement once we provided value. But if you just say, look, I can't show you this house, do you sign this paper? Is that gonna be a good way for you to operate your business? Is that the kind of professional that we want to be? Is that the kind of industry that we want to be in? Like, you know what, sign this, I'm gonna hold you to it, you're not really gonna know what it says. Is that what we're really shooting for? No. So make these appointments, please embrace this change, right? We gotta accept the changes, right? If you don't have the knowledge, please take the classes, meet with us, role play, be ready to handle those kind of things. Stop venting all over social media. I'm not saying anyone in this room or online here, but like, for those of y'all that are on social media, what are agents doing all over the world? I mean, I'm sorry, all over the US about the changes. Oh, talk about a bunch of crybaby sissy nannies. I mean, like, they're driving me up the wall. I'm trying not to say inappropriate things, but these are not great people. I mean, like, I'm sorry, it just irritates the daylights out of me. All they do is complain. That's not what we need to be looking at, right? Please make sure that you're paying attention to where your eyes are facing. Meaning, if all you're watching, are all these negative things online, and you're watching all, if all the folks that you follow on social media are all these agents who are just like, and this is bad, and I hate NAR, are you ready to embrace change, or are you just gonna be one of those folks who are being influenced by those people? So pay attention to what you're looking at and the information you put in your eyes, and then just focus on continuing to move forward. Right, that's the big thing here. So I'm begging you, basically, accept the change, move beyond it, embrace it, and it is going to help you grow your business. Please don't push back against this. And I promise you, I'm speaking to the seasoned vets here, because for a lot of us, we've had buyer brokerage since 1988. It's been around for a long, long time. I don't see it going in other states. It's brand new, but in Georgia, been here for forever. So, like, I'll get off my soapbox now. Okay. Sorry. All right. We are changing accountability to masterminds. So we were doing accountability Mondays at 9:30, and in the process, I was calling on people, right, Bernita? And then they hated to come back to me again because they'd be like, I didn't do what I said, so they wouldn't do it. So we're changing the mastermind. So every Monday at 9:30, we're gonna be changing the masterminds. You'll be able to, we will be having some live options as well. You'll be able to zoom in every single week. We'll have a new mastermind topic that we're talking about every week. We're gonna be announcing it in the newsletter in advance, as well as in sales meetings, that kind of stuff. These are lists of the different topics that we're gonna be talking about afterwards. We'll be posting these on the Real Estate Backstory as well. So next week, we're gonna do geographic farming, the week after, Google My Business, then we're gonna be hitting 9-month rentals, every week is gonna be a different one. It's gonna take about 30-45 minutes mastermind. We're gonna present and go through and teach, and then we're just gonna open it up and have some discussions about each one. So each one's gonna have a different mastermind topic every single week. This way, at least you'll know what the mastermind is. If it's something that interests you, please join in. If not, you can be like, I don't care about that at all. But at least you know what's going on that front.
Even if you're not interested, just to, get the knowledge, because it might be something you might like.
Mink said that even if you're not interested, you should still come in. So, okay. All right, next, I want to talk about code of ethics. If your code of ethics is not, if you haven't done code of ethics in the last 3 years, because every 3 years, all realtors must have 3 hours of code of ethics training every 3 years. That is due by December 31st. We are already getting lists of folks that have not done their NAR, their code of ethics. You can go online and do code of ethics. We teach code of ethics. All the boards teach code of ethics. Don't wait until, December 25th. Don't wait till Christmas to go get your code of ethics, right? So let's go ahead and if you haven't got it wrapped up, we have several classes coming up. Adrian's scheduling even more just to make sure that we can get it in before the end of the year, that kind of stuff. But please make sure your code of ethics requirements are taken care of, because all realtors have to have it done by December 31st, regardless of when you started, how long you've been in the business, that kind of stuff. We all will have had to have it in the last 3 years. We had a phenomenal Tom Ferry this past, 2 weeks ago now? We're waiting on the replays. As soon as the replays come, we will announce it to you that we have it. If you did come and you want to catch a replay, if you missed pieces of it, or if you weren't able to come, we will have that. As soon as we do get the replays, we will make it available to you. And then last thing, here is our top producers for the month. So thank you guys so very, very much. Now we're gonna go local. Now we're gonna turn off. And so I love and appreciate y'all so very much. So thank you very much for your time.